first. So Oklahoma City wins game 2 in convincing fashion, 123-107. I think it was potentially the least shocking outcome that we will see maybe the rest of these finals, where it's Pacers won game 1 on a walk-off shot in dramatic fashion, miracle fashion. Oklahoma City was going to respond, going to make sure, hey, we outplayed them through the vast majority of game 1. Let's make sure we keep our foot on the gas pedal for 48 minutes straight. And after it was kind of closed back and forth for the first 6 minutes or so, Thunder started to pull away early first quarter, really started to pull away in the second quarter, went up by 21, and that was pretty much all she wrote. They won by 16 points, scoring 123. SGA is the major storyline of this game. I'll talk about the Thunder aspect of it in just a moment, because to me, I've been really, really irritated over the last few days with hey, you know what, man? They've got the assets, they've got the depth, they got the coach. Ladies and gentlemen, the Oklahoma City Thunder are going to be the next dynasty, or the best chance to be the next dynasty. Maybe true. Could they at least get the first ring before we get into that? That has really driven me crazy. What has not driven me crazy is the discussion around, is SGA having one of, if not the greatest guard season of all time? We can maybe break that down further if Oklahoma City goes on to win this thing, because SGA obviously will be the MVP of the finals if they do win. It's a discussion. There's no question about that. We can show you what SGA has done as it relates to from a historical standpoint. We can go and put up these numbers right now. Players with 11 30.5 assist games in the postseason. This is in history. By the way, this is tied for most all time. LeBron's done it 3 times. Okay, Michael Jordan's done it twice. The 2 greatest basketball players ever. I don't think there's any question about that whatsoever. And SGA's done it now. So we're looking at a situation where he's doing some pretty historic things. He's in some pretty rare air as it relates to the performances that he's putting up. But what I think is fascinating about Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, because there's this discussion, who's the face of the league? Is it Anthony Edwards? Is it Luka Doncic? I think sooner rather than later it's going to be Victor Wembanyama. I'm just telling you that right now. Whatever, international guy, they can't be the face of the league. Funny, Shohei's the face of baseball, but we don't talk about that. Either way, you think about what SGA gave in game 1. Gave you 38 points, not crazy efficient, was 14 of 30, had a solid game. And then in game 2, we can show you his numbers right now. Last night was outstanding on both ends of the floor. We could show you 34 points, 5 boards, 8 assists, which, by the way, up from 3 assists in game 1. I really kind of called SGA out for that. Get your teammates more involved. They had 4 steals in this game. SGA is averaging 3.5 steals a game in this series, getting really active in the passing lanes. 11 of 21 from the field, 1 for 4 from three-point range. It's not just the performance on the floor. It is, take a listen, and I have been on this for years, mostly as it pertains to quarterbacks. This is why one of the many reasons I love Dak Prescott is because it's why I love Mahomes. It's why and Lamar Jackson, like certain guys, man, they are just nails behind a microphone. It's one of my critiques of Josh Allen. Like, I feel like you're nervous when I watch you on the field late in games and at the podium. Not saying you're a choke artist, but like, I need a little bit more stability, outward stability from my franchise. And in the case of Josh, outstanding quarterback. And it applies to NBA superstars as well. SGA has this cool, calm, never phased for a second demeanor about him. He was asked about, hey, series is transition to Indiana. They have home court advantage. It's a 1-1 series. What's kind of going to be the momentum? How will that game look different for you guys? Just take a listen to Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Just take a listen, and then I'll get into it in just a second. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander after last night.
Every game's a reset, especially at this stage in the season. A series looks so different. We've had a series where we lost a game and won the next one by 40. We've had a series where we won 2 in a row by 20 and then lost the next one by 40. So it's like every game's a reset. And basketball reminds you of that. It's very humbling. It shows you that if you don't stay in the moment, if you don't come ready to play, no matter who you are, no matter what you just did, you can get.
I think the clip just cut off there for a second. I know that's not the sexy answer necessarily that you would want if you're a member of the media, if you're a fan watching the press conference after the game. I compare that a little bit to the guy that a lot of folks want to be the face of the league in Anthony Edwards. Way flashier game than Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Better three-point shooter in a three-point shooting league. More of a high-flying guy, i.e. the great dunk artist of the past. Like all of the factors, again, there's the added bonus, there's the added advantage. Hey, he's an American player in an American league, all of it. But a lot of times in these moments from Anthony Edwards, it's not a panic. Matter of fact, it's almost the toxic version of the opposite with Ant Edwards, where, I mean, they got the doors blown off them by and large over the course of that Western Conference Finals, particularly in Game 5 when they were down 30-odd points at the half. And he's asked after their season is over, after they get gentlemen swept out of the conference finals back-to-back years, and Ant's like, yeah, I'm not hurt. I'm not hurt by this. It's not to say Ant isn't competitive. It's not to say Ant doesn't work hard. I know he works hard because he gets better every year that I see him. His numbers are better improvement, all of it. But there's almost like this, it'll be fine from Ant. And from SGA, it's, I'm going to make the next one. See, in neither case is there panic or is there arrogance. It's from Ant, it's always next year. And for SGA, it's, we're good. Chill, focus. Now I understand one example I'm giving is at the end of a season-ending game in series, and in one case, tied a game at a piece going to Game 3 of the finals. But it's still just this calm, cool demeanor. And the thing that I love about SGA, and I'll compare him to another former Oklahoma City Thunder superstar, Russell Westbrook, another great guard superstar, MVP superstar with OKC. Folks used to joke that if you watch, especially prime Russell Westbrook, and I would even argue today Russell Westbrook, like Denver Russell Westbrook, if someone like cropped the screen to where you couldn't see the score, or you couldn't see the clock on the above the basket, you wouldn't know what time of the game is because Russell plays the exact same way, which is really an issue. I feel like with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, you see a difference because he has a high basketball IQ. But it's like you don't see him waver. He's not a guy who necessarily gets like over emotional. It's almost like a Tim Duncan quality about him where it's, hey, if we're down late in games, which hasn't been often for Oklahoma City, but if it's tight late, I'm good. And if we're up, I'm good. My approach is still going to be the same. It's funny. There was a lot of criticism of FGA on social media after he missed the shot that would have put Oklahoma City up 3 with under 20 seconds left. Like, oh, SGA choked. And my mindset as a guy who, listen, I think I've consistently been lukewarm on SGA, only in the sense that not the foul baiting, but more so how he gets to the line drives me insane. You haven't seen it thus far in this finals. Kudos to SGA, but that's been a real issue from an aesthetic standpoint, similar to the Boston Celtics shooting 63s in a game. But that to me was, he missed a shot. Like, SGA makes that shot more times than not. He's a 51% shooter in the regular season. He's deadly in the mid-range. Someone joked he's like the best mid-range shooter since 2016 Sean Livingston, which I appreciate that as a Warriors fan. But it's just this cool, calm, collected attitude. I'm not going to be fazed by the moment. And I love watching that from him in this series. And it's a big reason that Oklahoma City is, to me, through the first 2 games, they were a big favorite in Vegas. I said OKC in 6. I'm definitely still sticking to that. See my prediction for Game 3 at the end of today's show. But it's the only reason I thought the Pacers would get 2, and we'll talk about Tyrese Halliburton in just a second, is a style. Yeah, microphone's still some issues there. Hopefully microphone's back. I apologize for that. No, but Oklahoma City's got the best defense by a long shot in the NBA. We know that. In half court, we saw it last night. I mean, even Alex Caruso, one of the smaller defenders, great defender, by the way, but is guarding a much bigger and longer player in Pascal Siakam on the perimeter. They think this is third quarter and just put the clamps on him. That's who Oklahoma City is. They don't have to switch because they're big, strong, long, and they can bring all of that physicality to the table when guarding a great offense that likes to play free-flowing and fast like Indiana. So my mindset was the only way for the Pacers to really not even expose, but exploit any sort of weakness in that Thunder defense is how you exploit any great defense. Get them running, get them on their heels, push the ball and transition off of OKC misses. And I still think they can do that. They did that through stretches of Game 1, although they almost slowed the game down in some aspects. In the fourth quarter, it was more so offensive rebounds that helped them come back on Thursday night. But through 2 games in the series, it's not even a contest about who the better team is. We can show you those numbers. Thunder averaged 7.5 more points per game. Ironically, the Pacers shoot 3% better from 3, more like 2% better from, 2%, a little over 2% better from the field, and 3% better from 3-point range. And Oklahoma City has a defensive rating that's 7 points lower, which is absurd against the Pacers. Pacers got a 117 defensive rating, OKC 110. And look at that last stat. The Pacers in this series have led for 1 minute and 53 seconds. The Thunder have led for 91 minutes and 20 seconds. Again, it's tied. That, like, if you saw that, if you're a Pacers fan, we haven't even led for 2 minutes in this series and it's tied. We got home court advantage. Hey, we're in pretty good shape. If we can, worst case, split at home, best of 3 series, OKC's got 2 the next 3 at home, but we can steal another one, maybe close that in 6. Like, that's the mindset if you're an Indiana Pacers fan. But just watching the series, like, it's pretty obvious who the better team in this instance is. Thanks so much for watching the show on YouTube, and be sure to go click that big red subscribe button and check out the other clips and full shows from Carving It Up Live, as well as our other incredible content creators here on the Grid Network.